Hello and welcome to Lesson 2 of Compilation 1 of English Chinese Characters, ECC. I'm going to start off by telling you that I came up with a cool name for English Chinese characters because we're not going to want to say ECC every day or like English Chinese characters every day. That's kind of, stupid. So I came up with an English word which is going to derive from the Chinese word for this very thing. So it's going to be 映射, 映射. So that's really the English word without the tones from Chinese. It's like, oh, are you writing an 映射? It's kind of like how we would say like pinyin for their writing, or like, even like Devanagari for like the script. We take words from other languages for a lot of linguistic stuffs all the time. So that's what we're gonna do for 映射, right? It makes sense. You can call it 映射, you can call it English Chinese characters, or you can call it ECC. Whatever, all three of them mean exactly the same thing in English. Okay, very good. So, first character we're going to learn today, it has a radical, What is that radical? It's a radical for person. And it has this sort of like, very stabby looking thing on the side of it, right? This very like sort of like strong structure, like bones. And that's he. She is going to have the same sort of bone structure on the right, but it has a different radical. So this is she, and the radical is for a woman. Alright, so now this character, it means it, right? So it doesn't have the bone structure of he or she, because of course not. But it has this roof on top, and this roof is actually a radical in and of itself, and that radical means dwelling. So think of it like an it, a thing, dwells in a home, a place, right? A thing. It. So what does this say? He loves it. He loves it, right? Note the inflected S, the line under the character. That communicates that it's loves and not love. And now what about this? What does this say? She draws it. Again, there's a line under draw to make it draws. She draws it. The next character we're learning is the character for see, as in I see you, I see with my eyes. See. To me, and this is probably the worst mnemonic device, did I just say demonic device? Worst mnemonic device ever. It looks like a closed eye to me. Like it looks like these are two long lashes, like covering an eye, like an eyelid. It's an eyelid and lashes. But I think then the whole point to that mnemonic device would be that you can see things in your mind. Like you don't even need eyes to see. Like see doesn't just mean sight. It also means like mind's eye, right? So let's just see. This next character, which has a radical on the bottom of it, and that radical represents hand. It looks like a hand, kind of. Like it's got these lines or, fingers, bones, right? So overall, what if if that radical means hand, what does the whole character mean? We're learning basic verbs. We just learned see. We learned something else, he, she, it. So what do you think this means? It has a hand in it. What verb is going to use a hand? Take. This means take, right? You're taking something. The next character is a line, and it means one. Okay. Great! Great! Excellent! One. So what does this sentence say? I see one. I see one. Okay? What does this sentence say? She takes it. She takes it. What does this sentence say? He sees you. He sees you. This is the word for the. So in Chinese, they don't have a definite article. They have nothing of the sort of the. So you might be wondering, like, where did you pull this character from? Like, from the ashes of their, dead characters? No, this is actually a very prevalent character in their language. And just like how they don't have a definite article, we don't use, like, classifiers, measure words like they do, right? We don't have a necessity to pair a word with a number when we are, counting how many of something there are. It's equivalent to English how we do it a little bit, like with non-countable words. We would say, like, a piece of paper, or a loaf of bread, or a bowl of rice, a glass of juice, a bushel of wheat, right? So that's what they would use it for. We have no purpose for that, so we're just making it the. The next character, it is super cool. It has this radical on the left of it, which means jade. So, jade. What could this word mean then? This actually means ball. So when you think about it, when people made jewelry made of jade, they would make it in ball form. So of course, a ball will have the radical for jade. It's a little complicated to draw it, but it's not that bad. It's just horizontal and then down. That's 1, 2. Then you do the spikes, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you do a little. The next character is the character for chair. It has a radical on the left side, which means tree. Right? Yay, it's a tree. Yeah, chairs are made of wood, made from trees. And then if you look at the rest of the character, it looks like a man sitting at a desk. Like he has a computer on the desk, and he's probably sitting on a chair, right, at his computer. So it's chair, pretty easy. The next character has this image, and it kind of looks like, to me, like a bouquet of flowers, right? It kind of looks like a flower, or maybe like corn in a cornfield. And guess what? That's related to the meaning. It means fruit. You have to remember, all fruit comes from a flower originally, right? So now we have a big, long sentence. Please pause it if you need to. Always pause it and really, really focus on trying to read it for yourself before you hear the answer. That's going to help you. So what does this say? It says, I see the ball, the chair, and the fruit. Very good. Now we've come to a point in our lesson where we read the Chinese sentence, the actual Chinese sentence. And this is it. So you can't possibly read this. You don't know Chinese, but you do know Yingsi, you know English Chinese characters. So what could it mean? Take one. It means take one, right? That would be the English translation of the Chinese text, and it's what they're saying. But if we were reading this in English Chinese characters, of course, we would read take one the, which doesn't make sense, right? So if we want to make it into an actual English sentence, it would look like this. Take one. Take one. Very easy. Okay, we've reached the end of the lesson. Please stay tuned for the quiz and really practice reading and writing these before moving on to the next lesson. Okay, bye.